Okay, so I am fresh off of Disney Plus series Moon Knight premiere episode, episode one. Joining me to discuss a spoiler-free, we will do our best. Let me just say that some things I feel like you like. We're gonna do spoiler-free, but first thoughts, first impressions. We are gonna talk Moon Knight. Um, Let me just start by saying I don't know a whole lot about Moon Knight. And that was something that, kind of coming in, I was like, okay, well, hopefully I don't necessarily need a full origin, but maybe they'll explain. And so in the first episode, I'm like,
You're intrigued.
so wait, did I just see, I don't think it's really, well, let's see, is that spoiler? I liked what I saw right at the end. That was beautiful. That was fantastic. Um, some beautiful imagery, like the CGI work, the visuals that they give you, definitely draws you in. Um,
Let's
yeah.
talk impressions real quick, because I will say this feels like it's going to be a slow burn, but it's not doing the disrespect of leaving you bored. Like it keeps you
Okay.
on your seat, up on your
Okay.
seat, giving you just enough to be like,
I was about to say it's like they're dangling it. They
they're
give you
dangling it.
enough, like there's a reward.
Oh, there absolutely is a award.
You get rewarded for watching. And so it's like there's moments where you're just like, okay, is this filler? Is this filler? Is this relevant? Why does that matter? Is that, oh wait, what was that? And it's like you start, because first of all, it's Marvel. So you expect that everything they show you means something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm gonna dive into checking out to see the Easter eggs. Like, is the cupcake important? I feel like the cupcake has to be important. And I'm like looking at the name on the van. I'm like, okay, what is that? What does that say? Okay, remember that. That's gonna mean something later. Everything is Mephisto, and you start looking for stuff that may not even be there. And but it's like it's this whole world, and you're completely drawn in. And because it's Marvel, you have this almost this expectation, but I feel like they are meeting that expectation with just the first episode.
I will say I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
Freaking loved it.
yeah,
I don't know if I could swear.
yeah. Of course, we have the age disclaimer.
Okay.
So we are grown A
Then
geeks.
I
It
fucking
happens.
love this. This
Yeah.
having followed the Moon Knight comics, it feels like they're taking some liberties, but those liberties are working for it. Like this doesn't feel like it fits in the Marvel universe, and I think it does it a service because of that. Like this,
Now, I've kind of feel. How can I say this without spoiling anything?
it's hard.
We have Doctor Strange, and because Doctor Strange exists and Wanda exists, and certain things were said, and we see things happening. The character Arthur, when we witness what takes place with Arthur, that kind of makes me feel like it could still fit in
Yes, but
with
it's still disconnected.
it's disconnected the same way I feel like Eternals was disconnected. It's a
Okay.
part of the grand scheme, and there's relevance. Like, I don't think they're going to be talking about the Battle of New York in here and try to make it, canon and connected in that fashion. Um,
It's kind of like Legos. You've had like this huge thing that's being built, and then you have something smaller that's being built, and we're just going to see how it just fits in.
right. And it seems
Okay.
like it could snap in because this is obviously a story where anything that is done Marvel Studios, you feel like it all, because it's MCU, you feel like everything has to be directly connected. And when we got to this is spoiler, but it's not for Moon Knight, it's for Eternals. When you get to the post credit scenes in Eternals, and you hear that voice, and you see that scene, what I'm saying, that segment that takes place in the post credit scene, that's another way that they're tying in that character that's speaking to the MCU. That does not necessarily make the previous versions of that character canon for MCU, because we don't necessarily know that it's the same character until we see that person later on. We don't know how that's going to be connected. Is it going to be their own version separate? Um, because of course you have MCU, which is Marvel, and then separately you have like Marvel Studios. And since you have all these different branches of Marvel, not everything is directly canon. Now, sometimes they come back and they talk, and by I feel like it's been enough time at this point. It's coming out. It's available now. So in Spider-Man, when we see Matt Murdock, that makes Matt Murdock canon for the MCU, since his appearance in Luke Cage, in Punisher, in Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist, since those characters all interacted with one another, and it's the same character here, he's the bridge that makes that canon.
There's also Wilson Fisk and Hawkeye.
Wilson Fisk, Hawkeye.
Oh, is
So,
that a spoiler for Hawkeye? I feel like it's been long enough.
It's been long enough. Yeah.
Okay.
It's past our time frame. As long as we don't spoil anything for Moon Knight, I think we're safe. But this is where I see how they could. When we see the character of Arthur talking to Stephen, there's a conversation that takes place, and there's some things that he says that kind of make me say, okay, that's how they're going to tie it in. That's how they're going to make all of this fit together. That's the Lego piece that makes it connect with the other ones. Like Duplo fits with Lego if you have the right pieces, and that's one of those pieces. And yeah, I'm definitely curious. Now, having followed the comics more, what are your thoughts as far as the portrayal of the character?
It's very interesting, and it's going to be hard to try and explain things in a non-spoiler way. But they portray his multiple personality or dissociative personality disorder in a very unique way, and I appreciate it. Like it's definitely a unique take. They're definitely taking some liberties, because like Stephen Grant in the comics, he's Bruce Wayne basically. He's the Playboy millionaire. And here, which you see in the trailer, so I don't think it's spoiler,
Right.
he works in a museum.
Right.
So it's different how they're portraying that, and I gotta say, I really loved how they portrayed his interaction with Mark, with the mercenary side.
Yeah.
Like that was a very interesting take, and I am here for it.
See, and it's interesting because what I do know about the character is the Mark personality is a standalone personality. And so, like you said, the interaction between Steven, between Mark, it almost makes you question like which one came first.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to have some relevance to the story as it unfolds, because in the first episode, and this isn't, I don't feel that this is a spoiler statement. The first episode follows very closely. It follows Steven. And we're watching Steven, and we see his interactions with Mark. And as you mentioned, because it is dissociative identity disorder, almost I almost want to say that schizophrenia is something different, because schizophrenia focuses more on the idea that you are unable to distinguish reality. What happens in your head is your reality, where in this case, there are separate personalities. So if you think back to something like Split,
Yeah.
it's a very clearly defined personality between the two characters. And I'm curious as to what they're going to do with the backstory for Mark, because Mark was a Marine, he was CIA, and later he's a mercenary. And there's some conversations here that indicate Mark is obviously known, and Steven is obviously known. And when you watch the episodes, you see that there are interactions that, like, Steven clearly has these moments of blackout. And those are the times that the dissociative identity disorder is taking place. And so he's trying to not really cope, but he's trying to manage these situations that he can't explain. And
He's
as
losing time and he has no idea what's happening.
right. And as we go on, as it continues, you begin to see why and maybe how that is happening. And so I'm definitely curious to see how they're going to go with that.
I am wanting to do a spoiler talk because there's like, it's not even spoiler of that.
We will put that up there.
But
the first thing we got to do is we got to let people know what we're watching. Did we like it, and would we recommend it? And I would have to say, just based off this first episode, I'm in for the long haul. Like,
highly recommend.
I'm upset that this is one of those things. Like, man, I got to wait a week for the next episode, and they probably do themselves a favor because now they can guarantee they got me for however many weeks because I got to finish this.
I think it's like 6 episodes.
So if it was something, if I could binge them all, we would not be doing this because I'd be watching the other episodes. So I'm definitely looking forward to see what else they have. I want to see more of Mark. I want to see how they handle the interactions between Mark and Steven. And as you mentioned, since in the comics, Steven is more of the Bruce Wayne character, I want to see if there is a known balance or if they continue to have the interaction the way it's there.
Well, that's why I wanted to talk, because it's psychology. Like, when you have dissociative personality disorder, you have the protective personality, the protector.
Exactly.
And just to dive into that, I feel like it coincide with the story, with episode 1, but I absolutely want to talk about that. Like, it's really fascinating how they put that together.
Well, we will make sure that we have a spoiler review coming up very soon. So be sure to check that out. And we want to thank you for checking this out. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. Follow us on YouTube. You can join our Facebook group. And we've got some other content coming up here on Twitch and some, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. We're out there. So be sure to check us out.
Comment below. Tell us what you think. Did you see it?
Did you see it? Do you like it? Do you plan on watching it later? Come back and check out our spoiler review where we talk a little bit more in depth. Thanks a lot, and we hope you enjoyed this. We'll see you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.